Yo, I hope I don't get fired for this. I mean, I don't think that I will because I don't really plan on saying anything bad about the job, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not really, I don't know. My disclaimer from the jump is just that I personally love my job. And I this is not a video to bash my job, my specific job. It's more of just a video to explain my experience behind serving as a whole. So I'm not trying to represent Buffalo Wild Wings or anything like that. But yeah, with all the rules today, I just hope that whatever I'm doing right now is legal. Anyway, let's go. Alright, what's up everyone? So, as you all know, my name is Denzel, DZ, and today I'm going to be just sharing my experience so far as working for, I'd say less than a month still. I'm probably arriving at a month right now as a server at Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, again, this is not a video to bash Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's not even a video directly geared toward Buffalo Wild Wings. It just happens to be the place that I have gotten my first server position. And so I'm going to be speaking through that lens, but I'm not speaking specifically about Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm speaking as a whole. And also, I'm not here to bash any of the people that I work with over there either. Maybe like one of them, maybe will see this video and decide to check it out. But I highly doubt that any of them even care to like watch the rest of them, which is fine with me. But yeah, I just want to put out those disclaimers like now before anybody tries to bring up like any trouble throughout this video. Yeah, I'm just here to explain my life and my experience, my personal experience as a server. So the funny thing is, I've always, in the most humble manner, always saw myself as a people person. I love connecting with people. I love talking to people. I love, getting to know people. I feel like I'm good with people. I'm good with interactions, I'm good with taking control of social situations. Granted, ENFJ, so there's probably that, and maybe even some nine social definitely goes into that, but regardless, I view myself like that's at least one skill, thankfully, that I have, because this job has pointed out a lot of them that I don't have. But yeah, I see myself as someone who's good with people, so I actually always wanted a job, not for the rest of my life, of course, but I always wanted the experience of a job dealing in customer service. I worked here actually at the Jerry Falwell Library for maybe a year or two. I'm so bad with time. But I worked as a customer service specialist. And I always got good notes and stuff written in a box that I didn't even know that people actually wrote into. But they wrote comments and stuff saying like how I was really good to them and etc. And I'm glad about that because I do genuinely care. There are people out there who it's like, I'm just trying to do my job and they do well, but they don't actually care, or they don't care as much. But as for me, I definitely care about the people, and that's the whole reason why I got the job. Yes, money is good. And in fact, money is great because I need the money right now, a lot. I realize that you can be making a lot of money and still be suffering because you have so many bills, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter necessarily how much you're making. It depends on how much you need to spend, how many bills you need to pay off, as opposed to the other way where it's like you can be making a little bit, but then if you don't have much bills to pay, well then you're good. If I was making what I make right now, back in high school, I'd be straight because I didn't have to worry about electricity and water bill and rent and credit card bill and car payments. And anyway, back to the server position. I really do care about the people. And so I always wanted a job in customer service. I literally used to even want to work at stuff like places like McDonald's, and be able to see how well I'd be able to interact with people, because I would interact with a lot of workers at different places, even servers and stuff like that. And I would just think to myself in the most humble way again, like, I feel like I could do this better. You're coming over here like, what you want. You know what I mean? Maybe not even that dramatically, although there have been times where they're that dramatic. But it's like you can tell like they're not really like happy. Like, yeah, it's just not good. Like,
Hello. Hi, this is so and so. May I take your order? Okay. All right. Well, we'll be ready in 20 minutes. Okay. Bye.
like, but at the same time, you don't want to be like extra either. Like,
Hello, this is blah 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 blah. Like, may I take your order? Yeah, okay, sure.
like that's overwhelming, in my opinion. So I just felt like it would be a good challenge and good experience for me. So I decided to take up the job as a server at Buffalo Wild Wings, once again, less than a month. And I will admit that although there are aspects of it that I do judge myself to be very good at, maybe even more than my coworkers may be able to see, there are definitely aspects of it, and management, of course, management most importantly. But there are definitely aspects of the job that I either didn't see coming, or even if I did see it coming, I just don't have it in me to like yet, I guess, to like be as strong as I would have wanted to be. So the first thing that I realized is, and somebody pointed this out on Twitter actually, INTP Claire. She said that because she works as a server too, and she was like, "Do you think that a serving position is like a what's it called? Like a TE disguised as FE?" And I was like, I hadn't thought about it, because as soon as I got the server position, I realized that I just been using a lot of FESE, like that, and that's the biggest quote unquote problem that I'm having right now, and my management even today has been telling me. And now I'm actually wondering if it has to do with 9 Sloth, but everyone keeps on, like informing me about how slow I am. You know what I mean? It's just interesting because I I do try to work fast. Like I really, like I'll be thinking that I'm going very fast and I'm doing, but then I just feel like everyone's saying like faster, faster, faster. And the one thing that I hadn't done yet, or like right when I'm about to get there, then they'll point it out and they'll be like, "You still haven't done this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was about to do that, but I was doing this and I had to do that and I had to do that." It's like, "Okay, but you still haven't done this." And that's where I see a lot of the TE. So I do actually agree with Claire that it seems like it's a very TESE kind of environment. And this would make sense too, because a lot of the workers over there use TE. I have an ESTJ manager. And like I said, I don't want to speak badly of anyone. I'm not speaking badly of anyone, so that's my disclaimer. But from my experience, a lot of times I feel like he doesn't like me. Today kind of changed my mind. Or maybe he didn't like me, but now he's like seen how much that I'm trying, and so he's like, "Okay, I just need to like this is a better approach than just hammering at him. Like let me sit down and let me talk to him and let me show him like, hey, I do actually see what you're doing well. I just want to help you with this." So yeah, shout out to him for that. He's very on top of things. He's very like orderly, and he's just all about like efficiency. Like, get this done. There's a ESFP coworker that I'm working with, and today literally he like, of course he has more experience than I do, but like he's really good at the job, and he'll tell me like, "Yeah, Denzel, just do this. Like you have to streamline." It's the most TE thing ever. I tried to streamline, you know what I mean? But I guess it just doesn't come naturally to me as much. Like, okay, you have to make sure that you do, and if granted, TE is a tertiary position, but there's a lot of ESFPs at the job who they're just on top of it. Like they're really like busting it. I have another ESFP manager, and she be on top of it and everything too. And sometimes when she gets into that tertiary, then she become bossy and another B word that I will not use because this is not that type of channel. She'll become that way, but then at the end of the day, it's just like all in the moment, and it's just like to get things out, and it gets the job done. Now for me, and granted, I'm not the only NFJ at the job, or FJ at the job, especially, of course. And I try to see how the other FJs work. I believe that most of them, to be honest, they're working as cashiers, which makes sense now that I think about it. Cashiers and hosts, especially. Now, I believe there's two or three other FJs that work as servers. One of them trained me. She's awesome. And she's been at this for years, but she's actually also planning on leaving the job now. So there's that. But yeah, she's really good, and she's quick and all of that as well. And I think that was just something that had to come with time. Uh, but yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is that it definitely does seem like it's TE disguised as FE, because even like there's an ENFP at the job, and I believe that there's just my personal opinion. I believe that FI, kindness and manners or whatever, is different from FE, kindness and manners, which is interesting because FI is like known as the authenticity and etc etc. But I feel like when they're working like this, they can be they think that they have to. This is just from what I'm gauging. They think they have to be fake, fake kind in order to like do whatever. Yesterday, my INFP coworker, she was like complaining about the job and how she wants to go home, and they were like, there's a lot of people that complain, and they're like, I'm just tired of kissing us all day. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and I think about it, and I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I was just thinking like, I don't think that I really ever kiss butt. You know what I mean? Like I'm just me. Like I'll pull up to the table and I'm like, hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Denzel. I'll be taking your orders for today. I don't say it exactly like that all the time. But, it depends on the type of table that I have. And I'm like, can I start y'all off with something to drink? And I get that. I fill out the table as like how they're telling me their drinks. So like a lot of times, like, hey, like if I say, hey, what's up, y'all? And then it's just like, oh, hey. Or they're just like staring at me or whatever. And it's like, yeah, let me get this. Then I kind of like already know what type of table I'm dealing with versus like, hey, yeah, sure. Okay, how is do y'all have Mountain Dew over here? And it's like, actually, we do, so I try to like go off of their energy in that way. And then I, try and like do the best that I can to like mold to that. But yeah, I feel like I don't really have to like kiss up. Maybe it's because I'm just naturally what maybe other people would see as a kiss up, but I see it as like the FI users. They have to like there's another EFP out there. I'm leaning now more on ESFP. I'm pretty sure actually probably ESFP. But she's a great server as well. So she gets the job done, and she has like the charisma and the charm. But then she'll come back to the server station and she'll just start complaining like, yeah, this table, this and blah blah blah. And granted, like a lot of people complain. I'm new, so maybe that's maybe that's why. But they'll just like complain and stuff like that. And it's just interesting because for me, once again, I'm new. Maybe this will change. I feel like it won't, but we never know. But when it comes to tips, so let's talk about tips. I feel like, first of all, what people should understand is that tips really are our salary. Like at my job, I get paid $2.75 an hour. And when it says that you're working from 4 to 9, that actually means that you're working from 4 to 11, at least. Maybe even 4 to 12. I didn't go home last night until around 3 a.m. And then I had to be back at work by 11 a.m. So there's that. And I was originally scheduled for 4 to 10. So there's that. So you just never know. But they let you know all of this like in advance. Like there will be nights where you have to do this or whatever. All of those hours, you're making 275 per hour, and that money is being used for your taxes most of the time. Like literally most of the time. So servers are actually really relying on the tips, which now makes more sense when I see my coworkers come back to the screen things, and they're just like, ugh, this table barely tipped me, or like, oh, this woman was so nice or whatever, but then she only gave me like, like $2 in tips, or like she didn't like, tip me at all, stuff like that. So I understand completely why they complain. I understand, especially like when you're relying on this to pay rent and do a lot of other stuff, such as myself. Um, for me, I think the reasons why maybe I do not get as angry about that is because number one, still new, so that's a big thing already. Maybe it's a gradual thing that you get to. Number two, I was one of those people. I would always. I didn't even have the money to be eating out. You know what I mean? But I'd go ahead and then I never not tipped, but I did always at least tip. Like I tipped like $2 to $3, and it wasn't because I didn't want to tip. Even when the service was like whack, I just could not I just couldn't allow myself to leave without tipping, even if I did not have the money. Like literally, I don't have the money, and my credit card is already over the amount, but I'm still leaving that $2 to $3 tip. Like, hey, it's something. So when I see a table and I do whatever, number one, I don't necessarily show them kindness because I want the tip. Tips are nice, and I do want the tip. Like that's how I get paid. I love the tips. That's I need that money, but that's not the reason why I'm so kind to them. That's not the reason why I'm always checking on them. I genuinely want them to have a great experience, and then allowing the tip to be a side effect of that experience. So, but I feel like a lot of tables, they could assume that, oh, this person, not specifically me, but just a server in general, this person just wants to get a tip. That's why they keep on checking on us. That's why they're so nice or whatever. And there are people who do that, which is once again funny because I believe that's a lot of the FI users. Not bashing them, but I believe it's the FI users who are like, well, TE, like, I have to do this so that I can get my tips. So I will put on this fake FE, very inauthentic, but yeah, I'll put on this fake FE to be able to perform well and all of that. And then if I get the tip that I want, then boom, that was my TE goal at the end of the day. And some people can see right through that, and then a lot of people, they confuse the genuineness, which once again is not just limited to FE. I believe that FE could do this too, but so please don't get so stuck on that. But when they see this, then they're like, then they could assume like, this guy, he's just being this way because he wants a tip, and then that'll make them not want to tip because they feel like maybe like I'm trying too hard, even though I'm talking to them exactly like how I'm talking to you guys right now. So it's very interesting. Even like visiting the tables, you know what I mean? Like I don't really like to bother them like as they're in deep conversation, and then just kind of like interrupt and be like, is everything okay here? Like every 2-3 minutes, you know what I mean? But then it's very highly encouraged to do that. I was even thinking of getting something like a bobblehead or something, or like a small flag for all of my tables, so that whenever they need me, they can just like put it up so that I don't interrupt them. And I was doing this with ketchup bottles for a while. Like I told some of my tables, like, hey, I see that y'all are having conversation, and I don't want to interrupt because I know how it is when I'm interrupted in discussion. And I've come over about 2 or 3 times. Y'all didn't need anything, so just to make sure that I'm not interrupting, but at the same time I'm alert to when you guys do actually need something. How about you put up this ketchup bottle at the corner of the table whenever you need anything? They're like, oh wow, thank you, we really appreciate that. And one table of these two girls, they even said, like, no, like you're not even annoying with it, like you, like other people are, like you. I just kind of like come by and I'm just like, hey, y'all still good? All right, cool, just checking, and I just like move on. So yeah, I try not to make it seem like, I'm trying too hard for anything, because I'm really not. Like, yes, like I said, the tip would be nice, the tip would be great, the tip would help a lot. I'm not denying I need that money, but at the same time, I really do want to provide a great experience. And because I also know how I was when I used to like tip people and stuff like that. Well, I mean, I still do. I haven't eaten out in a while like that. But yeah, like now I understand like that process. Then in that sense, when I do go to a table, even if I had a great interaction with them and everything, and I pick up the thing or I see that they left like a small tip, to me, money is money. So it's like sometimes I could be like, oh man, oh well, and that's just how I am. I never actually get like angry. I'm just like, oh, I would have liked more, but maybe they didn't have enough. I know how it was for me. Like I would have. Sometimes I'd write on the receipt like, I wish I could give you more, because I really do. I want to be that person who could like pay for like five people behind me at drive-throughs at Chick-fil-A or something, and leave $100 tips, for just no reason at all, and just bless people like that. But I don't have that money yet. Working to it though. I'm working toward it. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that I kind of like think about, and it keeps me, from getting upset or bitter or anything about tips and everything. But it is important, and at the end of the day, we do need that money. That's how we make our money. So that's just one interesting thing so far about tipping. Another interesting thing about tipping is that uh, you'll serve like party tables, so like tables of like maybe five or more, and you'll serve them well, and then examples like today, it'll be someone who decided that they're going to pay for everybody at the table, and it's like, whoa, this person got money, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just interesting because then it kind of backfires on the server a lot of times. I'd say most of the time, because I'm assuming in that person's head, they're like, well, I'm already blessing the rest of the table. So that makes up for me blessing the server. So I've had this happen quite a few times where somebody at the table will say like, yeah, one check, and then he'll pay for everyone, she'll pay for everyone, but then they'll stiff me. That's a server term for not getting any money at all. The check could be like $80, 100 something dollars, and they'll pay all that money, but then where it says tip, crossed out. Even if you provided really good service, or where it says tip, then they'll probably leave you like on the table maybe like $2 or $3 out of the 100 and something. And it's like, once again, I personally like, it's like, dang, I get that. Like, because maybe it's like, dang, I just wanted to kind of like bless my friends. I barely had money to do that. I probably didn't even expect the check to be this big, but hey, I'm gonna do this, and this is the little that I even have. Like, you're lucky that I'm even getting this to give to you, server. And or those who don't leave any money for the server, it's like, well, it is what it is. So, like I said, it just sucks when that person decides to be a hero, but then the server suffers from that. And then the other people at the table, they could even, they could have at least, left something. I don't know, but they probably don't understand. I just always assume ignorance, not in a bad way, just literal like ignorance, as in like they probably don't know how it's affecting the server. They probably don't know how, like, so today I worked 11 o'clock, and I just got off like it's about 2:30, and I left with $5. Literally, that's how much I made, and it's server life is difficult, because you never know how much you're gonna make. You never know what types of people you're gonna be dealing with. There are tables that I've served, and I know that I was doing a great job, but it was almost like they were intentionally trying not to connect with me, because because they didn't want, either they thought I was fishing for more tips, or because they just knew that they weren't going to tip, and so they didn't want to like feel even worse about it if they felt bad at all. But at the end of the day, like I said, it is what it is. I always look at it as like, dang, that sucks, but you just keep on moving. And at the end of the day, I've had great tables. Like, I met this couple. They were a Christian couple and everything. They looked like they were around my age, and I just, I saw them like pray before they ate and all of that, and they just seemed like really like cool. And I was serving them, and I told them like, yo, I really respect that they prayed over their food before. And they just seemed like cool. They left. The bill was like $33, but then they left me a $26 tip, and I was like, wow. And that makes up for the other tables that I probably did earlier or later on that night that didn't tip me at all. And so a lot of times you only need like one table. There was also another table that they left me, I believe it was an $80 tip. Okay, actually, yeah, wait. It was either an $80 tip or it was $80 check, and then they left me $40 of a tip. But either way, I just know that like I was so happy. Like, once again, I don't do this for the money. I mean, technically, I'm working for the money, but me providing that experience for people is not for that money. It's to genuinely give them a good experience, and then I'd like the money to be a side effect of that. So when that does actually happen, it's great. And you know what I do with that money? I throw it right into the bank account so I can pay off my credit card and rent and all of the other stuff that I have to pay off. In other news, I really do like the job, seriously. And I'm just waiting for when I can be a lot stronger. Because right now, I feel like I'm so fresh, I'm so new. I'm still learning the system, so like other servers will like probably like stand behind me like waiting to put in their order, which takes like maybe like 1 minute, and I'll be sitting there like, okay, Asian sing, got it. And I don't really drink alcohol, so all of these weird beer names, I don't know where to find it. I don't know how to ring it in, what to modify. I'm still getting used to the system in that way. Sometimes I get like people's like orders just a little bit like off. I try to do better by like now like just reading it off to them like, okay, so what I have down is you want traditional snack boneless with no fettuccine, no this, no that, no that. This on the side, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, yes. And sometimes you'll read it off to the people. Actually, a lot of times you'll read it back to them. And then when the food comes out, all you see is them like talking to whoever brought out the food. Or they'll tell you like, oh, I wanted this or I wanted that. And then management is easily irritated, and then it just, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. So yeah, I do feel like the weakest link a lot of times at the job. I feel like, or at least toward the bottom. I feel like what I keep on hearing is like, Denzel, you're really good with the tables and all of that, but you're slow. Everything just has to be faster. So I'm just trying. I'm waiting for when I can be so good at this that I can just like breathe in. And I've definitely gotten better over the past couple of weeks, so that's great. And I'll continue to improve. I'm sure of it. I keep track of like my mistakes. I try to do better with them because nobody likes, especially me, being seen as the person who's like incompetent. You know what I mean? I don't want to be seen that way. And so, especially when you're dealing with a whole bunch of people who are using TE as a dominant or auxiliary or tertiary function, which seems to be pretty much 75% of the people at that job. But at the end of the day, I once again just love the job, and I'm doing my best. And I'm hoping that maybe I can put out a part 2 to this video, and I can tell you about how much like I've improved, and etc. etc. I don't even know who's gonna watch this. You know what I mean? But this is just, for me, it's kind of like a public journal entry, if you will, just to kind of put something out here for my younger self, so that maybe in September or something, It's like, oh wow, now I'm rocking it. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing that. Blah blah blah, and I don't feel like I'm being looked down upon, etc. 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 So, yeah, that's everything. Just felt like sharing that with you guys. I hope that this helps other people who are considering to be servers, and especially those who are dealing with servers. Like, I'm not gonna pressure you to tip, but it helps. And also be easy on them. The servers are not the cooks. Please understand that the servers are not the cooks. So a lot of times it's really not their fault that the kitchen has not finished the food yet, or that the kitchen probably did something wrong. But then sometimes it is, our fault. Like maybe they haven't rung it in yet. But even if they haven't rung it in yet, it's probably because they're running so many other stuff. Like you're not the only table that they're dealing with. They have to deal with their other tables. Plus, we have to deal with other people's tables. So I'll bring out food to somebody else's table while I still have to ring in someone else's table because while I still have to ring in one of my own tables because we can't leave the kitchen without having at least like food out. So I try to like bring in someone else's table for them, and then the people at that table that I'm not waiting, that they're still my responsibility. Every table there's still my responsibility, but it's not my table. They're like, oh yeah, and can we get this? Can we get that? And it's like I want to do that and I do it for them, but it's like, well, I have to make sure that I prioritize my section because it's kind of like basketball, like you have to make sure that everybody on the other team is not shooting, all of that, but at the end of the day, if your man makes the shot, everybody's gonna be like, yo, whose man is that? Who's guarding him? That's on you. I don't want to be that basketball player that's like, yo, whose man is that? Yo, who has table 144? Like, why are they still there? I'm sorry, I was guarding person this, and I was doing that, and I was doing that. Because when it comes to that, TE users don't care. They're just all about, no, but what you needed to have done was that. Because at the end of the day, it's about efficiency. So it's hard. Be easy on us, servers, especially the new ones. But yeah, that's my experience as a server. Pray for me. Done.